Guys, it's Dana and it's time to talk about money. And in this video, I wanted to talk about why it seems like everyone has more money than you do. Recently, I went out to dinner with a bunch of coworkers that I used to work with. And when we were out to dinner, this often happens where, one person's talking about their recent vacation to Hawaii, someone else is talking about their trip to Scotland, someone else just went to England, Portugal, and they're all talking about their vacations. And so that kind of happens often to me. And you kind of sit there and often I am, we don't travel. So I'm just like, oh, I listen to their trips and they sound amazing. And this is not to say, I actually do believe that all of these people do have the money to travel. But in life, you're kind of bebopping along and it often really feels like everyone you talk to is driving a nicer car than you are, or they're wearing nicer clothes, or they're taking more fabulous vacations. And yeah. And so it starts to, especially when you're trying to reach a financial goal, you're trying to get out of debt, and you're, really trying to do everything you can to live below your means and save money. And that in itself, I think, might be one reason why it feels as if everybody else has more money than you, is that you probably are noticing those people more than you notice the people who are not doing all those things. When you're in a crowd, usually the person who you pay attention to is the one who's the most flamboyant, talking the most. Maybe they do kind of like to brag about the things that they have or the things they've bought or the things that they've done. And so they stand out more. And so you notice them more than perhaps the person sitting at the table at dinner who is not discussing their trips or the things they've been doing. So it might not necessarily be that everyone else, really is doing all these things or has all these things. It's just that you're paying attention to those people more than you are the people who are living or appear, I don't know what the correct term is, to be living more frugally. So when I was a kid, we moved into a brand new 2,600 square foot house in this really nice neighborhood. I think I was 7 or 8. So we moved into this really nice house. It was like a big step up for my family. However, I don't know whether it was that my parents necessarily couldn't afford furniture or what the situation was, because I was a kid, but we did not have any furniture in the house. So from the outside, it looked really beautiful. We were in this nice neighborhood, everything was great, landscaping, we did have nice cars, and we had no furniture. We had beds, and that was pretty much it. So, we used to sit on the floor to watch TV, on the carpet. So for many years, there was no furniture. It was a family room, a living room, a big rec room, and there was nothing in it. They were like empty rooms. So, and nobody knew that who was driving around the neighborhood. Nobody had any idea that we were sitting on the floor. And so, it's all like an outer shell that people project about what they want you to see. And so we all need to just be aware of that, just because it looks a certain way doesn't mean that's reality. I wanted to bring this up. I don't know where to bring this up at in the video, but a couple weeks ago, I put up a video and I was talking about Starbucks cups. And I really appreciated those of you who did put a comment down below, and you did so respectfully and said, hey, debt-free Dana, really, shame on you. Why are you caring what people think about you? Why are you drinking out of this, Starbucks cup, walking around like you need to show people that you are drinking this, Starbucks when you really made it at home. And I thought I was glad that was brought up, because I felt like maybe that came across wrong in that video where I was talking about that with the cups. So I do think that when I have gone, how do I explain this? So when I've gone shopping, at the mall or whatnot, or when I'm out with my sisters or with my friends, we usually do go to Starbucks. I love coffee. So I've been drinking, Starbucks since they probably first opened, many, many, many years. And it's just something that feels special to me. It feels like it's like a outing out with friends, or we're doing something luxurious. So sometimes when I put my home brewed coffee into the paper Starbucks cup, and I put in some vanilla almond milk, because I like vanilla lattes. That's my favorite drink. So when I have that cup and then I get in the car and I go out, has the feel of that paper cup to me feels like indulgent. It feels luxurious, like I'm doing something special. And so it's not that I care what people think of me when they're looking at me. Although, let's be fair, lots of people do feel that way. They feel a sense of trying to keep up with the Joneses, which is why I included that in that video. I'm talking about how, like, if you're trying to break your habit of spending a lot of money going out at Starbucks, there is some element to others who are trying to maybe fit in with those that they're spending time with. So I'm not saying that I'm doing that, because I really don't care. I mean, I drive a car that has tape on holding the bumper on in the front because the car got hit by a deer, and we just never fixed the bumper because I don't really care. So we have tape on the front of our car, of our 2004 minivan. Okay, so like for me, I don't really care, what people think of me, but it feels luxurious to hold that paper Starbucks cup just because I've gone out so much. It just feels, like I said, it feels like a holiday. I guess that's how I should explain it. So in talking about why it seems like everyone else has so much money, and it is true that people are buying things that perhaps they can't afford. So a lot of people do drive newer cars, or they do want to, have the latest and the greatest, designer handbag or glasses. And they do, they go into debt for these things, right? So just because someone looks like they have more money than you is not necessarily true. Obviously, we all know that. You're just like on social media, it's sort of a highlights reel. Your best foot forward is put out online for everyone to see. You want it to appear as if you have money even when you don't. And even in your personal life, you're going to share, the best things, like you're going to share the good stories about your vacation, not the stories about how maybe your wallet was stolen. Well, some people share those stories, which I appreciate, or that you didn't really have a good time at all, even though you spent $15,000 for a riverboat cruise in Europe, but maybe you hated it. But most people don't share that. They just share the details about it that are glamorous and sound really awesome. However, there are certainly those people who take trips or buy these things and they do have the money, right? So we should never really compare ourselves to others, because some people, they genuinely have the money and they want to spend the money on those things, and more power to them. They are, free to do that. So I really challenge everyone to, instead of comparing yourself to others, try to just compare yourself to yourself a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or a month ago, right? If you're on a financial journey, think about like where you were in the past, and hopefully now it's better. So continuously try to build upon your own wealth and try to focus on what you're doing. But just because they have a bunch of things or they're doing a lot of vacations doesn't mean that they have more money than you. I think that's really important, because most people are not going to share with you that, it took them 2 months to save up money to buy that handbag, or that they just put it on a credit card and they have, thousands of dollars of credit card debt. And that $3,000 handbag is probably going to cost them $30,000 by the time they end up paying it off on their credit card. And that's certainly not something that you want in your life. So none of us should be feeling as if we are less than based off what someone else is projecting or portraying to us, because we don't know their real situation. And that's their business. So we're just all trying to focus on our own business and trying to surround ourselves with people who can be supportive of that. And hopefully whoever you're with is not making you feel less than because you're driving a crappier car. And I will say, I do think I drive crappy cars, and I really don't care about cars. They don't mean anything to me. I just need to get to where I'm going. But I mean, people honk at me like ridiculous. They honk at me, yell at me out the window, zoom past me, and I'm not a bad driver. Okay, I'm really not. I've driven to Alaska from the East Coast twice. Okay, I'm really a good driver, and well, I say I'm a good driver. I mean, I think I am. But but when I'm driving older cars, I get treated like crap. And it's like, just because the car is old. And I know this because I've rented cars. When we did take a trip this summer, we rented a 3-month-old car. It was a hybrid. It was beautiful and it drove really well. And nobody I mean, I just felt like I was treated differently on the road because the car I was driving was newer versus when I'm driving these older crappy cars. So I kind of understand on some level why people like want to appear as if they are well off. I mean, I've heard stories too of people saying that they, have dressed really well, looked really good. They've gone in for a job interview, and in that interview, they were told, "Oh, no, I don't think this role is really for you. Let me give you this, like a bump up in the position that they were offered based off the way they looked." And so that's a real thing. Like that really does happen in our society, that if you look like you have money, then in some situations people pay more attention to you, you're treated better, you're given certain advantages over others, and that's true. I always feel like I've got a secret. Like I know I drive these crappy cars, but like I know that I have no car payments, I have no debt, and I most likely have a much higher net worth than that person who just zoomed past me and gave me the middle finger. So I feel like I've got this little secret, and it kind of, sometimes that helps me get through some of those situations. But I do spend money where I want to spend money, because I can, because I'm out of debt and we save for it. We have a plan for it. We budget for it. So don't feel bad about the luxuries that you want to have in your life. That's okay. If you want to save and spend money on an expensive handbag or glasses, then do it, and there's no guilt. It's totally fine. Like, that's your choice. That's the best thing, is that, it's your money. You can spend it how you want, right? Okay, guys, if it's your first time here, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.